check this out.
Earlier this week, Dario and the Anthropic team
Sorry, I should also mention this video came out a month ago. Today is May 17th. So,
pulled the ultimate trust me bro power move when they announced Mythos, a model so powerful, so capable, so veiny that they claim the fallout for economies, public safety, and national security could be severe if it were to be released to the general public. And as you can imagine, this has everyone losing their collective.
Before we go forward, no, I did not have access to. I did not have access to Mythos. I think Claude has recently made it public, and yes, there was a lot of fallout in my community and a lot of people panicking about Mythos itself and why it's so scary. And I assume Fireship's going to get into that, so we'll let him talk on it. But yeah, I have some thoughts on Mythos as a whole too.
Collective minds again.
Something very familiar about all this.
Some are saying Mythos may lead to the entire cybersecurity industry collapsing under the weight of our new god in a box.
Good.
Because the
It needs
security
it.
implications of a model that is this capable are terrifying.
While others are
I am a cybersecurity professional. I hate the cybersecurity industry. It is a cesspool. It is 95% sales, 4% misinformation, and 1% of people who actually know what the hell they're doing. And it is overpaid, overhyped, and not great. Yeah, I refuse to go to any security conventions these days because they're useless. And the industry as a whole, I am okay if it were to be eradicated and replaced by AI.
saying Anthropic is just repeating the same model release playbook we've seen countless times before, is scare the slop out of people, then quietly release a model that can't even code a Svelte 5 duet. But for us, in our parasocial relationship, it's like a fun game of Russian roulette. But instead of getting shot in the head, you have to become a ranch hand, and I have to start teaching tutorials on how to collect turkey semen so you can deploy genetic payloads into production hens. In today's video, we'll break
Production
down Mythos,
hens.
and I'll show you my bulletproof guide on how to update your software fast enough to not get zero-dayed, but slow enough to not get supply chain attacked. It is April 10th, 2026.
That's
and
a
you're
good
watching
balance to
Code
have, you
I'm
know?
tired, boss, because every time a new model comes out, it seems to bring on a new form of mass psychosis.
Yes.
Midjourney was going to make all human art obsolete, but now nobody talks about it.
True.
GPT-4o had an entire subreddit feeling love for the
Oh
first time.
my
and now
god.
Mythos
The GPT-4o is crazy. You guys saw all the people that are like dating their chat GPT, and they like used it as like a therapist basically, and were like actually heartbroken when 5 came out or 4.1 came out, and people were like issuing Sam Altman death threats for taking away their e-wives that didn't exist. That was Human beings are crazy, man.
without even being publicly available, has many feeling existential dread for the first time. And the reason for that
That's fair.
feeling is that during Anthropic's internal testing, they discovered that Mythos is basically a zero-day vending machine. It found a 16-year-old vulnerability in FFmpeg, which allowed
Oh, that's not good.
an attacker to craft a malicious video file that tricks the decoder into writing a few bytes of data outside its allowed memory,
Wait,
potentially
that's
crashing the program and
crazy.
corrupting nearby data. It was also able to find a 27-year-old bug in OpenBSD, allowing a remote attacker to trigger a null pointer write, which instantly crashes any
yeah.
OpenBSD machine reachable over TCP. In every major browser, it was able to run a train on a few JavaScript engine bugs that lets a malicious web page escape the browser sample.
The most vulnerable thing, if you don't learn anything from this video, at least take this. The most vulnerable things in existence are these top 3 things. 1, your internet browser. There are so many goddamn vulnerabilities that come out for internet browsers that it's actually absurd. If you have multiple internet browsers installed on your computer and you're worried about it, uninstall all the ones that you don't use, because they do not get updated if you don't open them, and they're usually pretty good about self-updating. So like, if you're a Chrome Andy, uninstall Firefox and Edge if you can. I can't remember. If you're a Apple user and you use Safari, uninstall Firefox, things like that, because they are so freaking vulnerable, and they get like anywhere from like 6 to 18 new vulnerabilities discovered a month for just the browsers. The next most vulnerable thing in existence, old versions of Adobe Acrobat. Fucking hate Adobe and their services. The cloud ones are fine. Managing those are fine. In an enterprise though, where you're using old licenses of Adobe, I feel sorry for you. And then the third and final one is freaking Windows updates. But Windows updates, everyone thinks they're like mysterious and they just appear. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. That is not the case. Windows updates are usually, for the most part, are published on the second Tuesday of every month. That's when you'll see the new Windows updates. Then, if there are critical vulnerabilities like 0 days or big CVEs that need remediation, then sometimes they will post one, usually a couple days later by the end of the week. And there you go.
Sandbox. In one case, that allowed it to steal data across websites, and in another, it was able to write directly to the operating system's kernel, giving the attacker full control over the device the moment the victim opened the web page.
Yikes.
And my personal favorite, it found a bug in the Linux kernel, which let it flip a single bit in a neighboring memory page, which turned the password executable into a writable file, which it then overwrote to gain full root access to the system.
I found more bugs in the last couple of weeks than I found in the rest of my life combined.
And just yesterday, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Printer Powell is set up an urgent meeting with bank CEOs to warn of the security dangers posed by Mythos. So it's no wonder that Dario is pulling inspiration from House Harkonnen and locking down control of the spice with the announcement of Project Glasswing, a new initiative that brings together a collection of companies that happen to pay Anthropic a lot of money.
So how do you guys feel about that? Hold on.
A new initiative that brings together a collection.
So, potentially the most dangerous. Oh, hold on. Gotta just. What does that say? I guess it doesn't matter. The most powerful companies in the world are being given access to, potentially, air quotes here, the most dangerous AI in terms of being able to crack and break and create security vulnerabilities. How does that make you guys feel? Because I know in Cisco's hands, I'm terrified. I fucking hate Cisco with a burning passion. I hate Cisco more than I hate Amazon, more than I hate Microsoft, more than I hate pretty much anybody. Cisco is the worst company I've ever worked with. But having the ability to incorporate that in Cisco specifically, they have Tenable for vulnerability management. They could hyper escalate that and force other people kind of out of the market a little bit. But I guess their biggest competitor there is also Microsoft with Defender Suite. But yeah, I got sidetracked. But yeah, the biggest companies in the world will have the most powerful access to create and manage vulnerabilities and detections, algorithms, and things like that. How does that make you guys feel?
Of companies that happen to pay
Leave a
Anthropic
comment
a
or
lot
whatever
of money in an effort to secure the world's most critical software via access to Mythos. The idea is that Mythos is too dangerous for a default config NPC like you to have, but perfectly safe in the hands of a dozen trillion-dollar companies.
I'm okay being called an
Anthropic's
NPC.
plan
That's fine.
is that the Fellowship will quickly patch all of the world's software before anyone else builds a model this capable. Which, if it's up to Sinister Sam, now that OpenAI is no longer acting as the fluffer of slop gen AI videos, will hopefully be any day now. But not everyone is convinced that Mythos is that capable. Anthropic has been using Mythos internally since February 24th, and since then, they leaked Claude Code source code, leaked documents revealing the existence of Mythos, and have had a very rough time even keeping their APIs online. On top of that, the way Mythos actually found these exploits is a little sus. Like the OpenBSD vulnerability came out of 1,000 parallel agent runs across the codebase, costing nearly $20,000 in compute. If you use the same process with Opus 4.6 or GPT 5.4 Pro, you'd probably find plenty of issues as well. And the Firefox numbers are doing something similar.
Interesting.
One of the claims is that Mythos hit an 84% success rate at writing working exploits in Firefox, which is a massive jump over Opus 4.6's 15%. But that number isn't against actual Firefox. It's against a spider monkey shell with the process sandbox and other mitigations turned off. So that begs the question, is Mythos going to...
Basically, they cheated. They weren't doing actual production level Firefox. They were given the developer variant of Firefox.
destroy the world? Well, in my expert opinion, it almost certainly will not. But is Mythos a real step up from Anthropic's current flagship model, Opus 4.6? Probably yes. Either way, we'll just have
most
to take
likely.
their word for it, because
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
but if you want to try an amazing tool that you can actually use today, you should check out BrowserBase, the sponsor of today's
Alright, we'll
video.
watch the sponsor.
It's a complete platform for building and deploying browser agents, where a single API key, it gives your agent access to cloud browsers, web search, and everything else it needs to access the web like a real human being. This lets your agents
pretty
perform
cool,
more
actually.
complex jobs like filling out forms and extracting unstructured data. And it's
Oh my god, if you're looking for a job, use this shit to fill out your resume, dude.
in tandem with Stagehand. They're
Sorry, the resume that you already uploaded and then need to fill out all again.
open source SDK for browser agents. They also partnered with Cloudflare on an open source protocol called WebBot Auth, which
Oh.
lets your agents prove they're legit so they can access any website without pretending to be human. Teams at Microsoft, Lovable, Ramp, and many others are already using it to build thousands of browser agents, and you can try it out for
Yay.
free using the link below. This has been the Code Report.
Yeah, I also have to agree with Fireship. I don't think Mythos is going to change the world. A lot of it seems a little bit sus, and a lot of it just seems like a big marketing ploy. I think it'll be good. It'll be better for Claude and Anthropic, but not world-ending, brain-shattering news. I do have to. I think I'm on the side of I don't like the megacorps getting that first, but on the other side, I don't know if I mind that nearly as much, because the intent is to fix their shit and run it against their stuff so they know what's vulnerable. So if it was released to the public, they aren't just screwed immediately. But yeah, that was Claude Mythos is too dangerous for public consumption. ... by Fireship. Good video. Good video. Go ahead.